Borders haven't meant safer streets for Indians abroad. In the last few months, we have seen multiple such disturbing incidents, and yet again, there is a disturbing surge in the hate-fueled violence that we are witnessing, from brutal street assaults in Ireland and Australia to now a horrific rape of a Sikh woman in the United Kingdom. The Indian diaspora finds itself increasingly under attack, which has been of a lot of severe thinking for many across the world. In fact, racial slurs, assault and targeted violence paint a very, very grim picture, raising some serious questions about the safety of Indians overseas. First, a young Sikh woman in her early 20s was brutally raped and racially abused on a quiet morning in the UK. Her only crime was being who she is. This is near Birmingham. Two white men not only violated her, but her identity as well, telling her, go back to your own country. This was the racial slur that was used by them. It's a hate crime that has shaken the local Sikh community in the United Kingdom. This, remember, is not an isolated attack, because just before, in the previous day as well, an Indian origin man was also brutally beheaded in front of his wife and children in the United States, the city of Dallas. And his crime as well was just a fight over a very petty issue, stopping the attacker from using a broken washing machine. That's not it. Previously as well, the Indian origin couple's vacation in Switzerland had also turned into a complete nightmare after they were kicked and punched without any provocation whatsoever, after they pointed out how unwelcome they felt at the hotel. So in Dublin as well, an Indian origin man in his 40s was also brutally attacked by a group of young men, stripped, beaten and left bleeding on the streets until a passerby finally rescued him. Let's take you through some of these incidents that have been coming in as well, as we have spoken about it. But let me also go across to senior consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary joining us on the broadcast. Srinjoy, this has been very, very disturbing. Now, these are a few incidents that have been reported, sporadic incidents, but what's disturbing is a clear pattern behind it. These are hate crimes that are particularly targeted towards the Indian community, which is why it's extremely disturbing and raises some serious concerns.
Undoubtedly, and this is something that has to be countered very, very strongly, because this is something that can spread. And the beheading is perhaps one of the most vile incidents you could ever imagine. Here is someone who gets himself a machete and beheads an Indian. Now, this apart, all the incidents that you've spoken about, whether it's the young Sikh woman in England, whether it's the beheading in America, these have happened just within hours of each other. And this is extremely reprehensible, and perhaps this is an opportunity for India, for the country to speak to all the countries concerned, and at a lower level. I'm not referring to head of state or head of government, but at a lower level to ensure that this doesn't happen again. For instance, India has a consul general in Texas. India has diplomats in Birmingham. So these are issues that have to be taken up by the Indian authorities, because this is clearly an example of racial discrimination and hatred, and this has to end.
Okay, all right, Srinjoy, but there have been multiple incidents. This comes at a time when within these countries as well, whether it is Ireland, whether it is the United Kingdom now, that is seeing anti-immigration protests in huge numbers. But what has been disturbing, like we've been speaking as well, is that a lot of it is also being targeted towards the Indian community that is largely seen as legal immigrants and skilled workers. But on the other hand, you have these targeted attacks that are taking place. This is also a reflection, of course, of the politics that is playing out in each of these countries, isn't it? Whether it is in Ireland, whether it is in UK, or whether it is in the United States. There is a sentiment which is anti-immigrant, and the political leaders have also not done much to address it.
Yes, there is racism here as well. The one thing that must happen is the fact that the population of these countries, Britain, America, Ireland, they must realize that Indians overall have been very law-abiding. Indians have been hardworking. Indians have risen up simply because of hard work and keeping to the laws. Now, as perfect immigrants, Indians have aroused a certain amount of envy. And this is also something that must be kept in mind. But there is racial hatred here. There is a sense of envy. There are a lot of things here. The important thing is a message has to come from at least the local political community, saying we are all the same, and here are and specific message has to go out to people, saying that here are people who are perfect immigrants in many senses. They are law-abiding, they work hard, and all of these things have to be kept in mind.
Yes, absolutely. Sanjay, do stay with us. We shift our attention now to more international stories. In fact, we have the latest coming in from the U.S. President Donald Trump as he urges the